Rachel Saunders is leading the presentation. And go ahead, Rachel, you're on the timer.
Great. Well, it's great to see everybody. Lots of faces I've seen before, a couple of new faces. I'm Rachel Saunders. I'm with Amplifyer. And we are we in and of ourselves are a startup, and we are working to raise the voices of startups in the ad tech and martech space. We connect those companies that create innovative technologies in the ad and martech space with leading brands and agencies. That's the real short and sweet of it all. We're very focused on innovation with those startups. That's what we're here to kind of bring to market. The team is very senior. We've all been in the space 15 to, in some cases, up to 25 years. So the one thing that we like to say is that even if it's just a better mousetrap, we're able to usually recognize that. So we do look for that innovation and that differentiation within our technology partners so that we have something new and unique to bring out to market. One of the most important tenets that we look for in a partner is transparency. We're living in the world of the black box right now. Actually, one of our partners is a big part of the antitrust suit against Google right now. So we are very firm in understanding where our dollars go and what they actually buy. That's, I guess over the last 10 or 15 years, we've lost sight of that a little bit in the advertising space, especially when we're looking at the technology side of the business and the programmatic side of the business. So we do look for that transparency, that innovation, and we look to also be that feedback loop. Before we take anybody to market, we do a soft launch. We have a clear understanding of what the market will bear in terms of the pricing, the pitch, the technology itself. We really provide that feedback ahead of schedule, ahead of going to market, and really try to understand what the market will bear once we do enter the market. We also really look to cover kind of the entire marketing funnel. We want those technologies to be spread out throughout the process. So whether that's kind of at the higher end branding, introducing your brand, engagement, all the way down through the sale, product sale, service sale. We really look to kind of diversify throughout that journey so that we have kind of something for everybody. And with that, I really wanted to take some time and talk about our partners today because they are very cool, and we didn't get a lot of time last to talk about who those partners are and what they do. I think if I talk a little bit more about what our partners do, it'll give you a better understanding of who we as a company are. So we have partners, like I said, across the marketing funnel. One of our first and most sophisticated probably technologies is called Ad Predictive, and they are a data and audience management platform. And you probably hear a lot about data platforms and audience management right now. This is in the advertising space where the money's at. I think programmatic was scheduled to be somewhere near $30 billion over the course of the last year. So we're seeing a lot of money run through these, advertising trading desks. And instead of buying media the way we once did, we can now buy our audience. And that's what this platform allows you to do. It allows you to not only ingest your company's first party data and talk to those folks one-on-one, but it allows you to create bigger and scale those audiences up and make them larger. So how is that done? Well, it's done through a platform. We have an audience management platform. We ingest your first party data, and from there's a ton of things you can do. And if anybody's interested, I would say, schedule a demo and get in this platform and take a look at it. It's extremely cool. But primarily what we're doing is we are finding your audience elsewhere on the internet. So we're doing identity resolution. We can take, again, your first party data, and resolve that identity against our data lake. Our data lake at Ad Predictive hosts over 30 data partners. Usually these platforms have 1, 2, sometimes even maybe 3 partners. We've got over 30 deterministic data partners. That's the differentiator.
Rachel, you're at the 10-minute mark. So the last 5 minutes, you could, yeah, it's going quick. Okay. You could either go to quick Q&A or use it up, however you like. Oh, actually, wait a minute. I'm sorry. You're at the 5 minute. You're at the 5 minute mark.
I was like, I can't be.
No, I'm sorry.
I practiced this.
5 minute mark. Keep going.
Okay, great. So the differentiator is really the having those 30 deterministic data partners. We can pull in your first party data and then hydrate it. It's called data hydration. Hydrate it with all of these incredible attributes that we know or want to know about your audience. We can package that audience up and then send it off for activation. So you can go out to the internet on any platform, on any programming, on any content, and be able to reach and talk to your audience one-to-one. We also get pretty far into the measurement, and this is media measurement in particular. Attribution is where it's at right now in media measurement. In order to have an attribution system in-house, it will cost you several $100,000s. You need to have a data scientist on staff, and it's something that usually takes 6, 12, up to 18 months to implement. We have a great partner in Mint Measure. Mint Measure was created and founded by an agency guy who was frustrated with all of that and said, we don't have, we're a great agency. We don't have the money to spend on these resources, but we deserve to have the same type of measurement capabilities that these bigger, more robust agencies have. And so he created Mint Measure. Again, they follow some of the very similar tenets. They're innovative, they're transparent, and they're independent. The one thing I don't like about a lot of these measurement companies is they're owned by agencies. So to me, there tends to be a little bit of a gray space there. So Mint Measure is independent and can tell you everything you need to know, from duplication on spending, can look at the journey that the customer is taking and look at each one of those steps and how the media has affected that, and also how to become most efficient with your media buy. It can do a lot more than that, but in a nutshell, that's what Mint Measure offers. Chalice Custom Algorithms, I think, is where we left off last time. These guys, just so you know, have been tremendously successful in both the Biden and the Georgia runoff campaigns. They were hired this year and have made an incredible impact on both of those campaigns from a digital marketing perspective. And how, you ask? Custom algorithms. So instead of going into your technology, which every technology has these bidder opportunities on how we bid for advertising, those bidders are all kind of the same. So what we do here is we customize that based on the outcome. In the case of the Biden and the Georgia runoff campaigns, it was a persuadability algorithm. We looked at those people that had even a little tiny glimpse of hope to maybe have some persuadability there from red to blue. And that's the business outcome that they were looking for, as opposed to vote for Biden. Customizing those algorithms towards your business outcomes can completely change the way that your company has been doing business to date. And I will have this up here for you to take a look at all of the key benefits of why custom versus standard algorithms make a lot more sense in today's marketplace. And last but not least, Square Offs. Square Offs is really cool. It's a social engagement play technology that's bringing the social commentary and debate back to the internet. We've lost it, right? Everybody has, especially this year. Social commenting isn't social anymore. You go down this rabbit hole, you're usually fighting with people. It's not pleasant. It doesn't seem to function and work. This allows you to have a topic of debate. It gives you both sides that you can see. It gives the folks that are reading these comments the ability to upvote and really, in one snapshot, gives you not only what you're talking about, but what people are thinking about it, and maybe even more so what they're saying about that. To have that formulated within an article or on your website for some of your brands, this is not only a way to get the voices of your customers heard. But it's a way to kind of create a safe space for people to start talking again. And I think we're going to need that a lot more as 2021 continues. And you're going to see incredible stickiness and incredible engagement versus the current types of commentary and social debate that are available out there online right now.
So now you're at the 10-minute mark.
We are very focused on future-proofing cookieless data solutions, creating custom algorithms, looking at current measurement and using technology to better measure media, and even using technology to get people to engage in a way that we thought we had technology pinned to do, but we didn't quite get it right the first time around. So we're going to try it again with some social branding, engagement, and research. So those are just a few of our partners. We are working with both early and mid-stage startups, whether we are an extension of your current sales team, or coming in and bringing a trusted advisor in your CRO. We really can work at any level. We also offer customer success as well as data and analytics services. Thank you very much. I'd love to take some questions if we still.
Okay, yeah. If let's see if there are any questions in the chat. Scott Lang, do you have funnels to capture self-reported first-party data? Do you use AI and persistent ID to follow the digital journeys and aggregate audiences? Somebody speaking from a perspective of knowledge.
Yes. I'm sorry.
And you build an audience without input from the client.
Yes, absolutely.
We have input, but I mean, if we don't have first party data, but we want to build a first party.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. Lookalikes. We call them lookalikes. So we basically model, what we do have, take what you do have, if anything, and model around that. So we call it lookalike building. And this is, yeah.
Cool. Let's see.
Until recently, I just have one quick question. Why don't we do this? Could we, I just sent you a note off, line from this. I am very interested in talking with you about what to do for a client.
Okay, great. Awesome.
Cool. So I don't know, Rachel's organization, Amplify, is sort of a business development agency that works with these companies to, help promote their capabilities, these clients of theirs. So certainly, I think you were talking, was it Ad Predictive? What was the name of the first one?
Yeah, Ad Predictive.
Yeah, that may have been the ones that you were referring to just now,
Yeah.
Scott. From Bryce, do you white label your services, and how do you work with agencies? So that's from Angela. Maybe take on, do you white label your services first?
We tend to like to be transparent. So transparency is something that we really try to focus on. We will offer those services, our sales services. We want to go out to market as Amplifyer, working in partnership with our folks. So we do not become the actual sales team unless we are employed to build out a sales team specifically for a company. A lot of our, all of our clients tend to also want to have some level of transparency on a plan. They can certainly work under a white label of this is the service offering, but from a payment standpoint, we usually have everything very specified in and of itself and broken out within the CPM, again, to follow that tenet of transparency. Does that, I'm not sure who asked, did that answer the question?
That was Bryce. And then did that answer the question, Bryce? I think you're on mute. I've been putting people on mute. No, you're on mute now.
So the answer to the question was no, you do not white label your services.
The sales services or the technologies? I'm not. So our services, the technology, they'll just want it to make sure that from a pricing backend standpoint that it's clear on how the pricing is broken out.
And that may vary. Don't forget, these are different clients of theirs. So I'm not sure all of them would necessarily white label.
No, and basically they just don't want people taking their stuff and marking it up, 10 times and reselling it. So that is the
If
only
they can
type
mark it up 10 times, their own pricing is wrong.
they're wrong. They're not priced correctly. Right.
Right.
But to your point, so that's the only thing I mean about the transparency. They're just going to want to make sure that their fees are passed through cleanly. If that makes sense.
And then the last question so far from Angela, how do you work with agencies? And you might want to clarify that when you say you, are you talking about Amplify or their clients? Angela, you're on mute. Oh, you're on mute still. Amplify, I think. She mouthed Amplify.
Amplify. Sorry, I typed it in. I'm on track.
Sorry. So how do we work with agencies? Amplifyer, the way that we're positioned against our agencies is that, again, we're all very senior. We've had long-term relationships with a lot of these agencies. So right now we're kind of like the place to come if you're looking for something cool, unique, sophisticated from a technology standpoint. And so, but we, like any other technology, represent and go out and call on those agencies. Everything from small independent shops to the big holding companies. And we present the technology, for our partners. In a lot of cases, it's a nice wrap up because we do cover the funnel. So the agencies like that they can get several different solutions within just one kind of stop shop, as opposed to talking to each one of these solutions independently.
Interesting. And was that what you were asking, Angela, or was it, do you work with agencies for?
Kind of. I'll follow up with Rachel later. I want to have a conversation with her.
Right. I know it sounds like Amplifier, by the way. It's not Amplify.
Yes, it is Amplifier.
We
amplify the voices, but
right.
I know Amplifier is the name of the company. Mike Aronow, my CEO, has been around in the sales, for 20 years. And this is something, as an advisor to many startups over the last 10 years, he was really passionate about starting and getting these types of innovations out to market.
Wonderful. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Rachel. And you have a bigger audience today. We have a 16,
I know, this is great.
Yeah, we have, let's
well,
see,
thanks for your
3 by 5,
attention.
15.
I really appreciate it, and certainly reach out. You'll have my information, and you can also reach me via LinkedIn as well.
Very good. So why don't we go? I think 2 minutes would be appropriate since we have about 14 people and it's 27 after now. We will go, what I will do is copy this into, this is the order in which people will be presenting. So Rochelle, Sarita, Steve, and then you can see where you show up in the list. And what I did was, if you want, you can share your screen. That's up to you. I'm going to put it into speaker view. So when you share your screen, I'm not sure exactly what will happen, but we'll see. So Rochelle, you are up.
Okay, hi there, everyone. It's Rochelle from Dynamic Business Growth, and I always say it's dynamic business growth and not schlep along business growth. And clients are coming to me today. Like, one of the key skills in business is being able to present and being able to talk about your business in a way that the average person understands. And is it client focused or you focused? And it needs to be client focused. And I always ask people today, are you storytelling or boring telling? Did you just tell me an amazing story that based on that story, I'm going to understand your high level of expertise, and I'll get to see that you're the clear and basically only choice. And, creating those kind of stories is where I've been doing a lot of work right now, especially when we're coming to start the new year. There's something about the beginning of the year where people want to kind of clear their slate and say, what's new and how am I going to move forward right now? And especially in the eye of COVID. So what's the service that they need that's going to address the needs of their clients right now? Instead of offering 10 or 12 services, what's the one that you can zero in on? And how do we create urgency so that people can really work with you instead of making it, a nice to have? We need to make it as a must to have. So I've been working with clients all over the board on how to position themselves, what's their it factor, what makes them beyond stupendous, and how do we align with that? So I love working with family-owned businesses because they have a lot of issues. They can't they cannot speak to themselves, let alone their audience. So that's a great sweet spot for me. And I just want to wish everybody a great, profitable, and successful new year as we start out.
Okay, great. Hello, everyone. I'm Sarita Jackson with Grit with 2 eyes. And the previous comments about what is actually needed for the client is a perfect segue, because what I deal a lot with working with companies, small businesses that are importers and exporters. And with COVID, there has been a huge shift in the global economy. Also coming into this year, changes in policies that affect many companies that rely on international trade to grow their revenues. As a result, they have to rethink their strategy, redesign their whole strategy in order to remain competitive, to continue to generate revenue in the international market, as well as minimize their risks. So what GRIT does, which stands for the Global Research Institute of International Trade, is conduct customized market research for these companies, develop a strategic roadmap, and connect these companies with our trusted advisors to help them to stay relevant and competitive and continue to generate revenue, minimize their risk in today's global economy. Again, Sarita Jackson with Grit with 2 eyes.
You have about 47 seconds. Anything else to add, or anybody have a question?
Well, to add, if anyone is dealing with any companies that have an interest in Sub-Saharan Africa, particularly Botswana and Ghana, please let me know, because I'm developing a virtual trade mission and where these companies can participate. And there is a grant that will reimburse those companies for participating in this virtual trade mission, where they make the connections necessary in order to expand overseas.
So is that
Sarita, are
mostly?
you- Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I was just wondering, is that mostly export or import?
For exporting. Yes, great question. Yeah, for the exporters.
Sarita, are you working with US-based companies or foreign-based companies who are doing business in the US?
Both. I can
Okay.
do both.
Okay. And are there companies that are looking to incorporate in the US?
Right now, many of them are in the food manufacturing space.
Yeah.
That are coming from countries all over the world. So that's the industry that I've worked with for the most part with my clients in the food manufacturing space.
Okay.
On
Cool.
both sides, actually, US companies as well as foreign companies looking to enter the US market.
All right, Steve. Thank you so much, Sarita. Steve Guberman.
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. I guess we get to say that for a couple more weeks. This is my first time at one of these meetings. So Michael, thanks for the invite. Excited to meet new people all the time. I'm a sheltered extrovert like most people. And so always excited to meet new people and learn about what they do and how I can help them. During a pandemic, there's no better time than a pandemic to start a business. So I launched a new business in October. It's fairly new as an actual business, but it's something I've been doing for a very long time. So I opened a strategic growth consultancy where I'm working directly with owners of creative marketing, digital, and PR firms on the health of their agencies. I've got 20 years of agency experience. I owned my own branding agency for a decade, built it up to 7 figures and sold it to a PR agency, joined that PR agency and helped build up their agency. I left there actually a year ago next week, thinking I would go brand side for the second half of my career and hated it. So I left there and started talking to my friends who own agencies to find out what did the pandemic do to their agency. And I learned so much, speaking to 30 different owners, 40 different owners, and most of what they shared with me were challenges that I had been through. And I put together a really awesome process to help them discover challenges they don't know about and solutions tactically that we can put in place to help them overcome those challenges. So we focus on people, process, profits, the P's that everybody knows about, but really importantly is their personal life balance. And are they getting out of their agency what they had hoped to get out of it when they launched it X amount of years ago, thinking, I'm a great designer, I can own an agency. Are they really doing what they wanted to be doing, or are they cleaning, offices all day long? So I've got a great process. I've got a handful of clients so far. In between, I'm doing still freelance branding, marketing, web design work, but really focusing on building Outsite is the name of the agency, and doing a lot of networking to meet agency owners. So excited to meet all of you as well. Thanks and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, Victor Lee, you are up.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new year. Nice to see so many familiar faces and a few new ones. So I have sort of a twofer this morning. There's a project I've been working on that I think a lot of you know about, and it's for companies that have remote teams that need fast and secure internet access, whether they're working from home or as people start to travel again. And so we've developed a super hotspot app that we just got a favorable review this morning from Ms. Glover Dichter over there. So she's on the system, and as is Michael. And we've also talked to Jason Cement there, and I think Scott Lang and Bryce Wade and a couple of the other folks. So we're really, now that we're in the new year, we're really pushing hard on that one. So I'd be happy to chat with anybody about that. And Michael, you said you're giving us permission to share screens? Okay, so I picked up a new project over the holidays.
Yeah, can you do it? Are you able to do it? You should be able to.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, great. So this is a situation for basically people like us. I mean, our generation, who often have responsibilities for elderly adults. And often, they need, they're living independently, but they need help going to the doctor, going shopping, getting a haircut, back when people used to get haircuts. And so often, they have needs and they need help, but often we have our own, set of responsibilities, whether it's to work or family and so on. So even though we'd like to help, we can't always be available at the right time. So we've developed an on-demand elder services app. And so the idea is, if your elderly aunt needs to go to the doctor, you go to the app, schedule it. You get a list of pre-vetted providers on our team, and you can select one of them, and we'll take it from there. So right now we're launching in Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens, and we're looking to get people started on our service. So if anybody is in this situation or knows of anyone in this situation, okay, we'd be happy to chat. And Julie Livingston, from the group, has already made an introduction for us. So thanks. Rochelle, I see you raising your hand.
Would this be good for senior living communities?
It could be, all right, if they need to make a trip out of the community. Yes, absolutely.
Let's have a conversation. I have a lead for you for somebody.
Oh, terrific. Thanks, Rochelle. I'll reach out to you afterwards.
Please do.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I don't know if you would offer it up to, partner with senior living communities, but that might be another. Yes,
absolutely, definitely. That's a great idea, Michael.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, cool. And next is Scott Lang. Scott, are you here?
Good morning, everybody. How are you? It seems like I've been doing this several times over. Just an update. For those of you that know me and those of you that don't, I basically have two businesses. I focus on partnerships and alliances, and I have some clients and properties that I'm working with to, basically bring brands to them. One is the American Bass Anglers Association, where I just closed a deal with Rex Optics, which is a client that I work with on the other side of my business, which is advertising, promotion, publicity, digital, etc. Anything in the marketing mix that I can do and they need, or reach out to people like Rachel Saunders or others that can provide potential resources to help. On the partnership side, I'm working with the Lonely Entrepreneur and the Black Entrepreneur Initiative. This is a SaaS software platform that provides knowledge, tools, and support for aspiring entrepreneurs, small business owners, minority business owners, usually between a startup and 15 people, and seed money and an A round. We're having tremendous success with that. Major corporations are getting on board with it. I'm not allowed at this point to really reveal who they are, but I will be able to shortly. As you know, many companies have stated that they're going to put millions of dollars against social justice and racial economic equity, and that's kind of where we're fitting in, both in the general market for small business owners as well as in the minority and underserved markets. I just am bringing on a new client, which is in the antiviral, antibacterial category, which is kind of hot right now, disinfecting things. And so basically B2B focused and basically partnership alliances, which is my long suit, doing that for many years. And also working in digital marketing, you know, building custom audiences and providing brands, email primarily, as well as social display, retargeting, and even looking at some location-based marketing initiatives. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Angela, you are up and you're currently on mute.
I have one quick question. Anybody know how to get the chat to write horizontal instead of down?
If anybody does, put it in the chat.
Yeah, thanks.
Do you know where your next million is coming from? I'm Angela Kaysen with Tempo Strategic, and clients come to me because I help them go through a process that will give them a real battle plan for success. All of my clients have one thing in common, no matter what sector they're in. They have to have customers or they die. I want to talk a little bit about today, Yale Summer Session. They're one of my cornerstone clients, and I've worked with them for over 20 years. So that tells you a little bit about the relationships I've formed with my clients. Last year, this past year, in the year of COVID, they did $5 million. And that was terrific. I would love to take full credit for that, but a lot of it was the fact that students were shifting to online and needed to make up courses. So that's part of their success. But the response from Yale corporate was to then give away all of their courses this coming summer for free. So I've got a client who's gone from $5 million revenue to basically having free courses for all the students that they're offering it to, which cuts their revenue to zero. They told me this, they were panicking. And one of the most important things in my process is talking about magnitude. And magnitude is really a couple of things. It's what's the scope of the challenge, and then what is your readiness as a client to meet that challenge? Well, obviously they had a huge shift in the scope of their challenge. It suddenly became, oh my God, I can't make revenue, but they still needed to recruit students. So the first thing that I did with them was put together a go, no go list. I advocate for my clients. I get in there and I think, okay, what is it that they are worried about? What's keeping them up at night? How can I take that off their shoulders? So I walked in with a budget that was ready to cut, and I showed them what was essential and what we could leave out and how we could still recruit for the coming year. We're ready to go. We launch on Friday with the new campaigns, and I'll let you know in a couple of months how it's going. But that's the kind of passion I have for my clients' work. And I hope that if you think of anybody who needs people to call them, call me.
Wonderful. And I don't know where my next million is coming from, but I know who our next speaker is, and that's Christina Hagopian.
I have to unmute myself. Hi, Michael. I know some familiar faces here, but I see some new ones. I should definitely connect with me on LinkedIn or otherwise. Steve, I own a graphic design and creative direction company, and I know several owners like myself that have been through the challenges of work-life balance. I recently grew the business to a level that I was really proud of, and then decided to scale it back to my early days, where I am not necessarily a solopreneur, but I'm certainly scaling on a much smaller basis. And I bring in team members. I've always had a virtual agency where I'm finding that in the COVID days, that my business model is really where everyone is kind of turning to. And I'm watching as the world is noticing that, you know, offices aren't needed and you can have a remote staff that is equally engaged. A lot of our clients are major Fortune 50 even, and also startups. And we find that the virtual model has worked in our favor over those years to scale as large or as small as the client needs. I often say our work is better to show than tell, and I'll put our website on in the chat right now, and or Michael, I don't know if I can bring it up, but my
You should be able to bring it up if you'd like.
okay, there are 3 verticals that we have been specializing in. Of course, the branding is our foundation, you know, the making of the mark and having a visual presence, how that mark is translated to a website. And then our secret sauce is email marketing, where most of our Fortune 50 clients come from. And not as many graphic design companies and branding companies really know email well, and that's where we've been able to shine in our portfolio. So I'd love to talk to anyone who finds that their email program, especially for e-commerce, is not converting to the level that they want, or it's not working hard enough for their conversions. So that's where we really shine.
Great. Thank you so much, Christina. Let's see, Audrey Glover-Dichter, you're up.
Hi, everybody, and Happy New Year. It's great to be here again this year. I'm an attorney and I'm a solopreneur. So I have my own practice. I have a boutique firm that focuses, I'm an attorney and I help agencies and businesses protect themselves from their own websites. And I do that by reviewing everything and anything on that website that needs to be legally compliant. So I help businesses make sure that they're legally compliant with advertising law, advertising, marketing, promotions law, also intellectual property law, and as well as privacy law. And since I am helping the client to be legally compliant online, I also help with the legalese necessary to be ADA compliant. So I review all of these fields. I review everything in the campaign, regardless of whether it's print or social media. Especially websites is very crucial because that's usually how some of these businesses do get in trouble. I work with businesses and I work with agencies. I'm industry agnostic because if you have a website, you are technically advertising nationally and internationally, and you need to be compliant with national and state laws. And for privacy law, you also need to consider the potential liabilities from GDPR and other, excuse me, international privacy laws that may be applicable. So I offer a 30-minute, I offer a 30-minute free legal consultation if, just to go over the website or whatever other questions you may have regarding any of those fields. I also protect new business startups against themselves by making sure that we do the proper due diligence ahead of time. I do researches at the USPTO to make sure that you don't infringe on somebody else's business name just because the website name, the domain name is available. It doesn't mean that the name isn't being used by somebody else that may be in another part of the country. Audrey Glover-Dichter, and reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Jason Cement, you're up. Jason, are you here? Jason,
Looks like he jumped.
He ditched. Okay. Let's see. Jason is gone. That would be Jonathan Paisner.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see some of you again, and good to see those of you who I've not met before. So I am in the branding world as well. Typically corporate brand, B2B corporate branding. The good chunk of the work that I do emerges from M&A and divestiture. So I do. I'm also a virtual agency, so I do a lot of work on the brand positioning, naming front, often partnering with a creative agency on then further bringing that brand to life in, whether it's a logo or other expressions. And then I also do work in the a lot of architecture work, so sort of ongoing brand management, working with either CMOs or brand managers in helping to deal with just change that happens in the organization, whether it's through acquisition or organic growth of new products, new divisions coming up, and everybody wanting to stick a new name on their division or on their product, and helping them develop a nomenclature and architecture system along those lines. I work in a range of categories, fintech, healthcare. I've got a large industrial client right now. I've sort of been in many different industries over the years, but it's typically at the corporate level more so than the product level. That's it's kind of my story. It's good to meet all of you, and I think that there are certainly some overlaps in some things that I heard from Steve and from Christina a little bit as well.
Thank you, Jonathan. I know Jonathan's done a lot of work with companies that are merging and divesting and figuring out how they manage their brands, and both the pulling apart and bringing together. Okay. So Jason Cement came back. Jason, you're up.
I lost my internet connection, so I had to switch computers. Sorry about that. So, so my name is Jason Cement. I run Get Visible. It's a 16-year-old marketing agency in Phoenix, in Arizona. So I want to share a secret behind the longevity of our 15-person team. So I grew up in a family where my dad, my uncle, and my brother were lawyers. So I became a lawyer too and a CPA, planning to be a kick-ass trust and estates attorney. But then, like many of you, I discovered the internet and launched a web business in '97. Got funny money investment from a billionaire, and that's kind of started my journey. In 2003, I took over website technology to run e-commerce websites. And then in 2005, I started our agency with a friend of mine. And so now we build e-commerce and WordPress websites. We drive traffic on search engines and social media. The funny thing is we have no training in graphic design or website coding. I even dropped out of my college marketing class, but I sat on the side of the table where the clients are for years and learned how to figure things out. So my training, experience, and know-how it comes to each project, we call this transcendent marketing. It's a system to move you ahead of your competitors. So we work with service providers like lawyers and doctors, and businesses from startup to Fortune 500. We are different. We have no salespeople, no account managers. We run a lean shop with the drive and tenacity to stretch marketing dollars. So that's my agency, and I'm sure I have much more time with my 2 minutes.
You have 32 seconds. Anything you want to add?
We came up with 3 words to describe what we do. We call it transform, transcend, and transact. So we transform brands. We help you transcend with rankings, better ad management, content syndication, stuff like that. And the ultimate goal is transactions, just to lead to, whether it's traffic, leads, or sales, you define what the transaction is to you. So that's my company.
Love it, the 3 T's. Okay.
3 T's.
That was, let's see, to Jonathan, Alex Acker.
Okay, I'm off mute. Can you?
I can hear you and
can you
see
see
you.
my screen?
Yep.
I'm not sure exactly what I shared. I hope I shared the right thing.
It says Vimeo. You have a video
okay,
page here.
Okay, great. Hello, I'm Alex. I'm president of Adventure House. My agency was founded in 1990, and I took ownership of the agency in 2011. So this year makes it my 10th anniversary as owner. We went virtual in 2019, and we had a pretty busy 2020 actually, which was weird because we had actually kind of a slow 2019. You can never tell. So Adventure House provides clients with no more of the same old in marketing. As we all know, 2020 has leveled the playing field. Meaning companies of all sizes are competing in the same social networks for the same audience. So we have no more big conferences, no more in-person networking events, no client parties, no whining and dining, which I kind of miss. It's all online now. So how are you going to stand out in the same rectangular space in social networks? We work with clients worldwide, and our focus is using motion graphics, and I'm playing my reel in the background there, to kind of elevate the client experience in social channels. From content creation and telling stories, we use video and animation to really push brands further. So what are we doing right now? We're creating a lot of infographic campaigns. We're creating campaigns which actually speak about how data is evolving in clients' business models. We're doing storytelling campaigns. We're interviewing businesses. Companies are hiring us to interview their clients to tell their, in some cases, COVID stories, how they've transformed their business and how they've adapted to their new normal and what their business and their and how they're doing to support the community. We're doing product videos for brand awareness. We're doing videos to commercialize solutions. We're doing interactive online experiences where we use the web to actually bring clients into, oh, I probably have time, and even virtual reality apps we're building now. I'm looking to meet typically larger firms who have a range of messaging and marketing needs, and they're tired of the same old, same old. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, for some reason the video didn't play. It's a little complicated how to get that to move. But yeah, it might have been playing on your side, but it wasn't playing on the Zoom.
Oh yeah, I'll share the link.
Okay, Sarah Walker Santana, and then Bryce, and then myself. Sarah, you're up.
Yep. Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you. This is actually my first time joining Michael's group. I might know some of you from Mosaic, which is how I came to know Michael. So I do see a couple of familiar names and faces. That's Claudia, my daughter, who has snuck into the frame as well. Thanks, sweetie. I'm going to talk now. We're schooling this week. So I keep actually trying to join this meeting, and every time I seem to have I go remote or something happens in this COVID world that doesn't allow it, but I am making it today. So anyway, my background is digital marketing. I had a digital agency myself, similar to many on this call, for about 7 years. I focused on experiential, social media, building websites, you know, a little bit of everything in the digital marketing space. And I worked with, you know, large clients, Fortune 500, as well as startups. And I actually, in the days of my agency, I was a beta tester for like a lot of MarTech companies. So, you know, would maybe work with like Rachel's type of company as well, and help bring that to other brands or agencies or my client partners. So I did a lot of that partnership work with my agency. Currently, however, I am just a solopreneur doing digital marketing consulting on my own. I tend to work now with like early stage startups or small businesses. Sometimes I come in as a first marketing hire. I've done that with a lot of early stage startups. I was doing some stuff in blockchain and cryptocurrency and cybersecurity earlier this year. And then now I've really switched and I'm working for a jewelry e-commerce brand, which that's why Christina's chat was interesting to me. Yeah, there. Sorry, didn't see where you were there. Because I'm about to do some email, help them relaunch their email.
I'm gonna have to cut you off because we're getting, yeah, it's at the 2-minute mark and we're almost at the end of our. I want to get Bryce in, and I'll take us over for 2 minutes. So Bryce, you're up. Bryce, you there? Bryce Ways has started screen sharing, so he must be here. Go ahead, Bryce. You're on mute. Maybe. You're on mute, Bryce.
Yeah, sorry, it keeps hiding it. So hi everybody. I hope you're all having a great start to the year. So everybody here is more of a marketer and an agency, and that's kind of what I'm going to talk about today. So a lot of what we tend to hear as marketers with people is, oh, that sounds great, but we don't want to spend that money. So this is possibly the easiest money you could ever make. And it's really simple. So today I'm just going to do a quick overview of one of our new products that we're releasing in the next week or so. And basically what it is it's a way to save money for your clients so that they can have the capital to spend money on you. So I brought up Nike.com here. So this is called SpyFood. This is one of the tools that we use. So the reason I brought it up is that everybody does ads, right? PPC is kind of one of the staples of digital marketing, and it's one of like the SOPs for digital marketing. Do you do ads or do you not do ads? There's two types of ads. There's organic and there's PPC. Now I say organic because it's still an ad. SEO is part of your digital marketing. That's kind of the baseline. So a lot of companies spend a great deal of money on both of these things, right? So there's a lot of overlap between what you rank well for and what you pay money for. So as you can see here, Nike.com ranks #1, and they have an ad here. So what we have is a new system called Ad Cannibal, and what it does essentially is it scans client websites to see if you're ranking #1 for an organic ranking and you have an ad here. This ad costs you money because some people just click on whatever's first. So if you don't have any competitors putting a competitor's ad on this particular keyword and you rank #1 for it, our system takes the ad down and saves you a bunch of money on your PPC budget and campaign. So essentially what that means for your clients is that they have more money to deploy other places, possibly in your whatever you're trying to sell them. So we're a technical marketing agency that white labels our technologies to other companies. And this is an example of one of the things that we're going to be focusing on for 2021. It's really simple to install. We only charge based on what we actually save them. So there's no risk to the client. And it's really easy to do. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on for 2021. So reach out to me if it's interest to you. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, and I will go. We're at 12 o'clock now. If folks have to jump off, please do. So my name is Michael Bendit. My company is Software Development Resources. So I am both the founder of this group and a member. And my business is I represent software development teams. So we tend to be, my teams are geeky, right? They're focused on the software development, the programming, the back end, the front end, but all of the technical stuff that a lot of marketing folks either don't necessarily have the skills to implement, or even if they have some people on staff, they sometimes run out of resources. They need extra help. So I vetted about 10 different teams that I work with, and these are teams that have expertise in different areas, e-commerce, basic content management systems, mobile development. I have a few teams that have niche capabilities, but even in those major areas, there's so many different platforms. Of course, we tend to do most of our work on the open source, most common platforms. Magento, for example, and Shopify for e-commerce, and WordPress, of course, for content management. But we also occasionally get asked, do you have anybody who does anything in Expression Engine or Drupal? Some of those platforms that at one point were very popular, and there's still a lot of websites out there, but it's sometimes harder to find people who can implement and upgrade those systems. Most of my teams are what I call dual shore teams. So that means they've got a few people here that do most of the client interaction, but their developers are offshore. And best leads for me are, both digital marketing agencies. I have partnerships with digital marketing agencies that send a lot of work our way, as well as startups. We do work with startups with their minimum viable products, starting them to get going with their first product, and also taking over sort of an operations system that maybe they had a freelancer build and they need to be upgraded. So I'm going to close it off there. It's actually exactly 2 minutes for me. Up and coming, as I indicated in my my last email, the website should launch this week. So look for an email from me. It'll tell you how to grab your account, take ownership of it, and then how to grab, once you do that, you'll set your own password, how to take ownership of your listing and update both your profile and your listing, to make it really stand out as yours, including adding a big banner, whether it's logo or just something pretty. You will have your logo in there, or if you don't have a logo, you'll have a face shot, headshot that I've grabbed off of LinkedIn or something. Feel free to change it. If it's looking a little blurry and you've got a better version, feel free to change that as well. So looking forward to that. Thank you all for joining. Have a great week. Happy New Year. If you want to grab the chat, if you haven't put your LinkedIn, if you open the chat and click the three buttons at the bottom, the first option is save chat. And so you could save the chat and download it. So I won't shut off immediately so people can have a chance to do that. And if you haven't linked with me and other people online, I think I'm pretty much linked with everybody on LinkedIn. But if you haven't, please do. And thank you all for joining. And next week is on Wednesday, 5 p.m.
Thanks, Michael. Take care. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Take care, Sarah.